There is a lot of advice out there about healing reflux and heartburn, and I'm sure you have heard a lot of it. And some of the most popular ideas are the ones actually doing the most damage. So today we are talking about the biggest misconceptions I see people carry into their healing journey and why letting go of them is often what finally moves things forward. Today we are talking about the biggest misconceptions I see people carry into their healing journey and why finally letting go of them is often what moves things forward. So let's unpack these together. Welcome to the Stomach Solution, the podcast for all you high achievers out there who are tired of managing your reflux, heartburn, and stomach pain and are ready for a solution that lasts. I'm Jessica Washington, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and former reflux sufferer myself, so I know firsthand what it feels like to do everything right and still feel like your stomach is working against you. So, if you're ready to dig into your symptoms, hidden root causes, the ones that diet changes and supplements just won't touch, get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's uncover the solution to your stomach issues together. And as a reminder, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not a replacement for medical advice or treatment. All right, today we are going to dig into the big things that most people get wrong about healing their reflux and heartburn. And when many of the people I work with initially started trying to heal their reflux and heartburn naturally on their own, they usually come into the process with a lot of assumptions about what their journey is going to look like. And maybe this is true for you too. Maybe you're coming in with ideas from things that you've read online. Maybe you've built certain beliefs from advice you've received from doctors or other practitioners. And maybe you've started to believe certain things about your body and your ability to feel well again just from living with these symptoms day after day. Because when something has been frustrating for long enough, those beliefs don't just feel like thoughts, they start to feel like facts. And if you're anything like a lot of the clients that I work with who like to stay on top of everything, they do their research, they know what's going on with their body, you don't just ignore these feelings and these symptoms, you do your best to try to solve it. So, in this episode, I want to walk you through some of the most common misconceptions I see when people are trying to heal reflux and heartburn, because understanding these can make the path forward a lot easier and a lot less uncertain. One of the biggest challenges when trying to heal your stomach is that there is so much conflicting information out there. And when you're already dealing with uncomfortable symptoms, it's easy to latch onto ideas that sound logical, but in reality, don't actually move the healing process forward. So let's walk through a few of the most common misconceptions. So, misconception number one is that you just haven't found the right diet yet. And we talked about this a little bit before, but this is truly one of the most common beliefs that people carry. They think that if they could just identify the perfect diet, the perfect set of foods, their symptoms would disappear and they would be well on their way to relief. So they start eliminating more and more foods in an attempt to control symptoms, and sometimes those eliminations help, which is great. But what often happens is that the list of safe foods slowly gets smaller and smaller, and the list of foods that you need to avoid in order to feel well gets larger and larger. And when you're also trying to feed your family, plan meals, and keep life moving ahead normally, that level of restriction becomes exhausting. Mealtime and planning meals stops feeling simple. You no longer enjoy sitting down to meals with your family, and mealtime starts feeling like something you just have to grit your teeth and get through. And the problem is that while food can absolutely trigger symptoms when your stomach is irritated, diet alone rarely explains why your stomach became reactive in the first place. Your stomach didn't just suddenly start hurting because you ate a specific food. Food sensitivities are usually a signal that something deeper in your digestion needs attention. Things like inflammation, impaired digestive enzyme production, gut imbalances, or nervous system stress. So, while diet can help manage symptoms in the short term, it is not the full answer. And if all you're doing is restricting your diet in order to feel well, there is so much more room for improvement and a symptom relief out there for you. And now moving to misconception number two is that you need the perfect protocol. Another belief that keeps people stuck is the idea that healing and lasting symptom relief requires doing everything perfectly. The perfect supplements, the perfect timing, the perfect dosages, never taking a day off. And if something doesn't work, the assumption is that the protocol must have been wrong, or you didn't do it correctly, or you just haven't found the right combination of supplements yet. But digestion is not a machine that responds to perfect inputs. There are so many variables that impact how you feel day to day. Your body is dynamic and it does not require perfection in order to heal. And conversely, healing actually happens when you address the major drivers of dysfunction, not when you try to control every possible variable in your life. And in so many cases, trying to micromanage every detail actually creates more stress and more symptoms. You're constantly thinking about what to take, when to take it, what you did wrong, what you need to try next. And that pressure alone can make your body feel even more stuck and actually contribute to your symptoms. But when you identify and remove the underlying stressors actually driving your symptoms, healing starts to happen all on its own. You don't have to force your body into healing if you are doing the right things to address the root causes. Healing is not something you have to force, and if it feels like you're forcing it, that's usually a sign that your approach needs to shift. Which brings us to misconception number three, and that is if your symptoms have been around for years, they are permanent. And this is one of the most heartbreaking discussions and beliefs that people carry and things that I talk about with potential clients all the time. And that is if you've been dealing with reflux or heartburn for years, it's so easy to assume that this is just how your body works now, that this is your new normal, that you're just going to have to figure out how to live life the best that you can while managing all of this digestive discomfort. But in reality, your digestive system is incredibly adaptable. When the conditions that are irritating your stomach and disrupting proper digestion are corrected, and your body has the resources that it needs in order to repair, things can change and they 100% will. It's not that your body is broken, it's that something has been keeping it stuck in dysfunction. And when that piece or those pieces are identified and addressed, healing starts to happen and things actually come easily. And I've worked with clients who dealt with symptoms for years, even decades, and actually began to experience real lasting improvements once we dug deeper than their surface level symptoms and their underlying causes of those symptoms were addressed. They didn't suddenly start to experience relief because their body suddenly changed or because they found the right supplement or the right diet or they just tried harder, did things more perfectly. No, but because the environment inside their digestive system changed, because we were actually able to uncover what was causing their symptoms in the first place. And now, misconception number four is that healing has to take over your life. This is another fear that a lot of people that I talk to carry. They assume that healing their stomach will require constant restrictions, complicated supplement schedules, or structuring their entire life around their digestion. But my goal when I work with clients is to help your body return to a place where digestion becomes stable and predictable again, where meals don't feel stressful, where you don't have to constantly think about your stomach, and where you can actually be present with your family instead of analyzing how you feel after every bite. And when you're addressing your unique underlying causes, a lot of the extra stuff that you're doing in order to just kind of prop up your body and your ability to feel well starts to fall away. You no longer need 10 different supplements. You don't need to have a perfectly controlled diet. All you need is the right inputs in the right places, and often that looks so much simpler than people expect. And what helps people move past all of these big misconceptions is really shifting from a mindset of control to a mindset of restoration. Instead of trying to control every symptom or eliminate every possible trigger, your focus now becomes restoring the systems that allow digestion to function properly in the first place. Things like restoring healthy stomach acid production, restoring balanced gut bacteria, restoring proper digestive enzyme function, restoring normal digestive motility, and restoring a nervous system that allows digestion to actually occur. When those systems begin functioning better, many of the symptoms you've been trying so hard to control begin resolving naturally, and you can release that tight grip that you have over your life, over your symptoms, and your body will stay afloat all on its own. And sometimes the thing that actually moves the needle the most is loosening your grip just a little bit, taking that step back and giving your body the space it needs to do what it was designed to do, which is to heal and to function normally. So, if you've been feeling overwhelmed by all the conflicting advice about reflux and heartburn, you are not alone. There are a lot of messages out there that make healing feel far more complicated than it needs to be. But when you stop chasing the perfect diet or the perfect protocol and start focusing on restoring how your digestive system is meant to function, the path forward becomes much clearer. And that's when people often start realizing that their body is far more capable of healing than they originally thought. And now, in the next episode, we are going to talk about what life can actually look like when your stomach heals and your digestion starts working the way it's supposed to again. Because when symptoms calm down and your gut becomes more resilient, that ripple effect goes far beyond just your stomach. So, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning into the Stomach Solution. If you got something valuable out of today's episode, please subscribe to the show and leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. It takes about 30 seconds and makes a huge difference in helping this show reach the people who need it the most. And if you're ready to dig even deeper into what's going on with your gut, come find me on Instagram at the Gut Healing Ninja, or head to theguthealingninja.com to get more resources and strategies to help you heal. And remember, there is a solution to your stomach issues, and we will find it together.